13 on your side with the breaking news update. We now learned the name of the woman whose body was found on Tuesday afternoon in a Yuma neighborhood, and a suspect is now in custody. Well, at this hour, police are calling it a homicide. Yuma police arrested a 21-year-old suspect early Friday morning in connection to the homicide. As for the victim, she has been identified as 22-year-old Christian Fish from Oregon. Police are still investigating, and they are asking if you have any information that you get in contact with them. Tune in tonight for 13 on your side at 6 with Christian Galeno as we bring you more details about this very unfortunate situation. Turning now to America Decides 2020, we are getting closer to finding out who will be the next president of the United States as vote counting nears an end in battleground states. Skylar Henry has more details from the White House, where President Trump is vowing to fight the results.
Joe Biden has edged ahead in two key battleground states. Biden has taken a narrow lead in Pennsylvania, with the remaining votes coming from areas favorable to the Democratic presidential nominee.
It's votes out of Philadelphia. We're getting reports in from Philadelphia right now, heavily Democratic area. They've been a little bit, taking a while to count their votes, but they're doing it. So as that comes in, that propels Biden up into the lead.
The former vice president also has a slim lead in Georgia, and the vote counting there is nearly done.
Out of approximately 5 million votes cast, we'll have a margin of a few thousand. With a margin that small, there will be a recount.
If Biden's lead holds in those states, he will have the 270 electoral college votes needed to be the next president of the United States. Sources tell CBS News President Trump will not concede even if those races are called for Biden. The president is claiming without proof that there are shenanigans in the vote count.
This tremendous amount of litigation generally because of how unfair this process was, and I predicted that. I've been talking about mail-in voting for a long time. It's really destroyed our system. It's a corrupt system.
But even some Republicans have called the president's Thursday night press conference destructive.
The president's speech last night was very disturbing to me because he made very, very serious allegations without any evidence to support it.
The votes being counted in Pennsylvania do not include any mail ballots that have arrived after November 3rd. Those are being kept separate pending a potential review from the Supreme Court. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Well, voting is winding down now on the East Coast, but at this hour, the polls remain open in some key battleground states. Millions have braved long lines to cast their ballots in this historic presidential election. Campaigns for both candidates say they see a path to victory, but with so many mail-in ballots this year, it could be days before a winner is decided. Camila Bernal has the latest from Wilmington, Delaware.
With the first polls already closed on the East Coast, Americans have turned out in big numbers this election day to cast their ballots.
A lot's at stake. A lot's going to happen.
From Hawaii to Ohio, Wisconsin to North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, voters have flooded the polls.
I don't feel safe as a black man living in America. We must systematically make changes. So that is why I'm going into here. I'm exercising my right to vote.
More than 100 million people voted early, according to a survey of election officials by CNN, Edison Research, and Catalyst, setting records in many states. But officials say it could be days before all the votes are counted.
It's going to take us a little while to count, and that's why I think it's really important that we all prepare to be patient and make sure that we get this right.
Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden made a stop in his hometown of Scranton, Pennsylvania, where he visited his childhood home and spoke to people at a labor union.
All my basic values. I learned at my grandpa's table at 2446 North Washington Avenue that money does not determine your wealth.
President Donald Trump made a visit to his campaign headquarters in Arlington, Virginia.
I feel very good. After doing that many rallies, the voice gets a little bit choppy, I think.
In Wilmington, Delaware, I'm Camila Bernal.
Tensions are high in some battleground states where the race is razor thin. Outside ballot processing centers, demonstrators on both sides vowed to keep fighting. Deborah Alfarone reports.
Police in Philadelphia say they arrested 2 armed men in a Hummer truck who were plotting to attack the city's vote counting center. Tensions there have been high as supporters of both President Trump and former Vice President Biden gathered outside, separated by barricades.
We will not accept what's going on. Absolutely not.
Every vote should be counted. Absolutely.
President Trump has repeatedly called for a stop in ballot counting, claiming major problems with the system, but offered no direct evidence of fraud. Many were back out again this morning at Detroit's vote processing center.
You're not going to let them steal this.
In Phoenix last night, right-wing conspiracy theorists fired up protesters outside of an elections office. An even larger demonstration is planned for today.
We can support a fair election, who wins, right? But the things that are coming up now are highly concerning.
In Las Vegas, pro-Trump protesters prayed at a ballot counting location.
4 more years.
And in Miami's Little Havana, President Trump supporters flooded sidewalks in a parking lot in front of a popular Cuban restaurant.
This group has been protesting President Trump and playing music here in Black Lives Matter Plaza in the shadow of the White House for days.
Election officials in several states say they are worried about the safety of their staffs. Some workers are being protected by security when they arrive and leave work. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
Well, you guys, this leads us to question of the day. Should there be a recount of ballots, yes or no? We have a new way that you can comment now. Just head to kyma.com/polls to let us know what you think. You can also vote on our homepage. We'll share some of your comments and have the final tally tonight at 10. Anticipation is growing as ballots continue to be counted in Imperial County. With many races too close to call, every ballot matters. But just how many ballots are left to be counted? Alexandra Rangel joins us from El Centro with the latest.
As states across the nation are rushing to count ballots, here in Imperial County, over 50% of the ballots received remain to be counted. The Imperial County Registrar of Voters estimates 60% of the 84,000 registered voters in Imperial County have voted.
We had tallied a little over 22,000 votes. We still have about 28,000 ballots remaining to be counted at this time.
It's an unprecedented number of ballots received. The registrar says they don't have an estimate of when canvassing will be completed.
Counting those ballots takes longer. So we just remind the public to be patient. This is different than other elections.
As speculation grows in precincts where voter fraud allegations were made, the registrar wants to ensure the public that all ballots are saved.
Every ballot is locked up every evening. We do have double verification, so we have teams working in two to double check each other's work and to verify everything accurately.
About 12 to 15 workers are helping with the counting process. In addition, Dale says county workers have also been reassigned to help with the election, working 7 days a week until they tally the last ballot. With thousands of ballots remaining to be counted, the Registrar of Voters says election isn't over until certification is done. The Registrar of Voters has until December 3rd to certify the election. Reporting in El Centro, Alexandra Rangel.